Alright, following UFC 283 in the post-fight press conference, Gilbert Burns seemed to give out some interesting information that a lot of people didn't know. Apparently that there's talks of the Ultimate Fighter with Colby Covington. The UFC is eyeing that. So let's talk about it and everything else. So if you guys are interested, please hit the subscribe button, comment, like, please hit the notification bell. It helps YouTube know that you're interested in my channel. And also, if you guys want to join and get a membership for the channel, if you want to just support, go click the join button. Also leave questions for this Thursday's Q&A. So yeah, let's get into this. Alright, Gilbert Burns just submitted Neil Magny at UFC 283 this weekend, and it was a pretty dominant performance, and it was just in a round, obviously. And you know, Gilbert Burns, rightfully so, is looking for a new welterweight contender, right? Because let's be real, he's fought backwards twice. He fought Hamzat earlier last year, and now he fought Neil Magny, defeated Neil Magny, so it didn't really matter. But you know, Neil Magny is the number 7 guy, risked his position. Neil Magny also isn't even a name. I mean, let's be real, like, I mean, Hamzat, at least if you beat Hamzat, hey, you got some name recognition, you probably earn yourself maybe another title shot, get back in that title shot conversation. But with Neil Magny, beating Neil Magny really gets him nowhere. He still needs another win, and it was just a risky fight, but he took it anyway because that's just who Gilbert Burns is, and that's why I like Gilbert Burns. I talked about it in the build-up to UFC 283. I said, man, I like Gilbert Burns because he'll fight anybody. He doesn't care. He's just looking to fight. We're getting a little off topic here. In the post-fight press conference after the win, obviously they discussed things, you know, that they're going to do next or what they want. Gilbert Burns, in the post-fight interview in the octagon, made it clear he wants Colby Covington. Colby Covington, obviously coming off of that win against Masvidal, hasn't fought because of some sort of court case with Masvidal about the assault.
Colby Covington, I'm coming for you!
Now, while I do think that Gilbert Burns and Colby Covington is an interesting matchup, and a matchup I think Gilbert Burns could possibly do very well in, there was talks of him saying that perhaps they're going to do the Ultimate Fighter with Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns.
I heard the UFC wants to make the Ultimate Fighter. Oscar, who you think? Durinho and Colby or Belal and Colby? Which one the fans and everyone were gonna like? Just be honest, I don't care if you say Belal, but who you think?
I think both of you have issues with Colby, so it's probably about which one they want to tap into. But if they're trying to build Fight Pass in Brazil, they have a Brazilian that could help with that. So if they wanted to do that, that would be your choice, wouldn't it?
Even if they do in the US, I think it will sell way more, you know. And
so like I said, yes, this is a good matchup, and I think Colby Covington would actually make a good Ultimate Fighter coach. But I just want to rant a little bit because, you know, I know a lot of people have given up on the Ultimate Fighter. A lot of people say, why am I going to watch that? It's just garbage. And for the most part, they're right. The Ultimate Fighter is not anywhere near where it should be. I mean, this thing could be a million times better. The sport is 10 times bigger. There's no excuse for not making better Ultimate Fighters. Like, you have bigger fighters, bigger personalities, more fans. This thing should be through the roof. There's so much wrong with the Ultimate Fighter. First of all, this thing is on ESPN Plus. If you put this thing on television, I don't even think this thing is on ESPN. Put it on television. Nobody in their right mind is watching the show. If you watch if you pay attention to the viewership, I guarantee you it's like under 1,000, like under 5,000. I would find it hard to believe. Like I honestly think my channel gets more views than fucking the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm not even big or anything. Second thing, you know, the Ultimate Fighter was returning after some time off, going on ESPN. You know, in the first season 30, I think it was, or season 29, one of those. You know, you're expecting a big return, right? You're expecting two big personalities, and at the time, this was 2021, early 2021. You could have done Usman Masvidal, huge Ultimate Fighter. You could have even done, honestly, I would have even took Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, but you also could have done Israel Adesanya, Marvin Vettori, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker. Tons of matchups there. I think it happened over the summer. You really could have done Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker. That would have been a perfect one. You know, not even perfect. It would have been okay. You could have done Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. Like, I mean, they were fighting around that time, but they decided to do Brian Ortega and Alexander Volkanovski. It's like they're trying to choose either the cheapest option or just like the most boring option. And although I do like to watch them fight, let's be real, they're not exactly the biggest personality. I mean, to be honest, I mean, yes, Brian Ortega in and of himself is a personality, but he isn't that guy that's going to be entertaining as an Ultimate Fighter. There's a difference between having a good personality and a good fighting style and being a good coach for the Ultimate Fighter. Now, regardless of what I think about their fighting style or even their personality themselves, if I like them or not, because I do like Alexander Volkanovski, I do like the fighting style of Brian Ortega. I wouldn't say like I'm a fan of his personality per se, not saying I hate him, but, you know, I'm more of a fan of his fighting style. But you want rivals to be the Ultimate Fighter coaches. That's why I'm saying you should have, you could have picked Adesanya and Marvin Vettori. They were going back and forth. They had all this crazy buildup. Honestly, even Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, they weren't going back and forth too much, but you know that there would have been at least something. The biggest drama in that first season was that Brian Ortega, and I'm not joking, that Brian Ortega would show up to practice 20 minutes late. That's how much we were looking for some good drama here. You know, and then a year passes. You know, I know I'm going off on this long tangent, but then a year passes. We get Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. You could have done Usman Covington. You could have done literally anything else. That would have been Usman, you could have done Colby Covington, Masvidal. You could have done a million different matchups. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else fought that year. You could have done, honestly, Hamzat, Nate Diaz, Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. I could go on and on about the better choices. And, you know, look, I understand that not everybody is going to say yeah. I understand that people are going to say no. I understand that, you know, obviously this isn't a dream world. Like, I'm sure Conor McGregor would not be up for it, right? I'm sure he wouldn't probably want to do the whole Ultimate Fighter thing. He didn't really seem to enjoy it the last time that he did it years ago, so I don't think he would be signing up to do it again or anything. But Colby would actually be a really good coach because, yes, we all know he talks shit. We all know he's going to create some drama. Him and Masvidal were the perfect time to do it. It was the perfect time to do it last year. Have an Ultimate Fighter, build the hype for that rivalry, and it literally would have been a perfect fucking Ultimate Fighter. Who wouldn't be watching it? But they fumbled it so hard. But this is what I'm saying, and honestly, going into that season, I said, okay, you know what? Juliana Pena did her trash talking beforehand. She did her trash talking against Amanda Nunes. Maybe this could deliver. Maybe we could see some, you know, back and forth, even though Amanda Nunes isn't really that trash talky type. She has gotten to trash talk with specifically Juliana Pena, so I thought, okay, maybe this will be interesting, but it was not. I mean, Juliana Pena just decided no longer to trash talk. She decided to take the high road all of a sudden because she was the champ. Like, where was this coming from? It was basically like literally just coaching. And look, of course, we want to see the Ultimate Fighter for two things: good coaching, you know, and good fights and things like that. But we also want to see, let's be real, the fucking drama. We want to see the storylines. And they fumbled Covington, Masvidal. They're never going to be able to do it again because of this whole court thing. So you fumbled it there. Will never happen. And now you're fumbling again. You have the perfect Ultimate Fighter coaches that will launch the viewing to the roof. Khabib and Tony Ferguson, they don't even need to fight. It sells itself. Everybody will be tuning in. This is the thing where people are going to be watching at midnight as soon as this thing comes out. But you're fumbling it again. Like, my thing is, do the UFC love, and look, I like, did the UFC just love losing money? Did ESPN love losing money? Because the thing is like, look, I understand that maybe Khabib would say no, but okay, let's go to the drawing board. Let's look at the fights coming up. Usman Edwards 3, I wouldn't mind that. That wouldn't be bad. There's some storyline there. John Jones, Cyril Gane. I mean, obviously, you know, I don't think the trash talk will necessarily be there, but they got really good personalities that'll make up for it. How about Pereira, Israel Adesanya? Perfect. There are a million other matchups. Gilbert Burns and Colby Covington, although I do think that Colby Covington would make a good match. Maybe do Colby versus Dustin Poirier. That's a good rivalry right there. You know, you could probably get that done. Make a main event pay-per-view out of that with the hype behind the Ultimate Fighter. I think that would be a good move. Or you can even make it a featured bout and make it part of the Ultimate Fighter. You could still do that. And underneath a title fight pay-per-view. But Gilbert Burns, look, I love Gilbert Burns. He's definitely one of my favorite welterweights. He's definitely one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. I love his style. I think he's extremely underrated. One of the most underrated because, yes, he's lost to Usman. Yes, he lost to Hamzat. But I think other than that, he beat everybody in the welterweight division. He's showed this weekend he has great jiu-jitsu once again. We all knew he had great jiu-jitsu, but we've seen his power on display many times. He almost knocked down Kamaru Usman. Usman was afraid to go to the ground with him. This guy is legit, and I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm still a fan of how he fights, but as a coach, I think we should rethink this. I think there's a lot of better options. Unless we're doing Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier, I think we got to leave this Colby Covington thing. Unless they do Colby and Hamzat, okay, maybe then we're talking. That's a good one. You know, have that, and then maybe have it as like a featured bout or something like that. I don't think that should headline a pay-per-view. Hamzat Colby would be a good one. Get inside of, you know, the training of Hamzat and everything like that. I just don't know if Hamzat really fits that coach persona because I feel like he's still new. I mean, he's like 10-0 or something like that, 9-0, something around there. So, you know, I would imagine a coach probably to be later in their 30s, you know, like early 30s. I think Hamzat is like in his 20s or something like that. But they need to fix the Ultimate Fighter. This thing should be on like ESPN. I mean, this thing should be on ESPN, like regular ESPN. Could be on YouTube even. But putting it on ESPN Plus, and I get that there's a deal. I get that they just can't do this, but to me, it is extremely flat. It is extremely boring at times. And that's just my thoughts on it. And this is coming from someone that has watched season 29, watched season 30, watched these newer seasons. Another thing that pisses me off, and I don't want to make this any longer, so I'm gonna hurry up here, but there's been literal like TUF members, like TUF people in the house that have said, oh, I'm surprised that they cut out all this drama that happened. There was a drama between this person and this person. What do you, like, they have literally derived the show of any entertainment. Like, this is just like all work, no fun, no play, none of that, just straight work, straight fight. Like, the whole thing, we don't, for the most part, nobody's caring about these people fighting. And look, there was a time where the Ultimate Fighter had some iconic moments, and still have some iconic moments that, you know, I think a lot of UFC fans cherish to this day. Conor McGregor, Uriah Faber, that whole rivalry, and the whole Cody Garbrandt thing that happened in that episode. Also, Rampage tearing down the door. Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva. There's so many memories. I like the Ultimate Fighter for the most part, but these newer seasons, we gotta find better coaches. And Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, disappointing in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree. Let me know if you want to see Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. Let me know your thoughts. Please leave it in the comment section below and ask questions for the Q&A. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.